This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021, episode 336. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on various social medias at Nicholas M. Craig. If you're a Gab user, you can follow me at Nick. You can check out my daily shenanigans at nickcraig.com. And of course, the best website on the internet, the only site you'll ever need on the internet, infectionpodcast.com. Screw the Google machine and everything else. All you need is our website. Joining us, as he does each and every week, from the great plains of Idaho, Brian with an I, Aldridge. Hello, Brian.
Yes. Hello. And thank you. I'll get my contact information out of the way right away. So if you want to catch me at Brian Aldridge on Gab or Parler. Of course, my blog, biteoftech.com. And then, of course, infectionpodcast.com. If you want to go there, check on the right-hand side. You can join our server on Discord. If you want to submit news topics, things you think we should be covering, but we're not, you're more than welcome to do that through there. Also, we've got video forms of the podcast that you can watch live or recordings. So if you go to the Twitch, YouTube, BitChute, or DLive, we have our podcast extras if you want to catch our pre and post show that we do. And then we've got our audio only forms. So if you go to the lower right-hand side, there's a bunch of links for mobile devices, web-based platforms, all kinds of things, apps that you can use to listen to the podcast after. That is not live. So just remember that is after the fact. But if you are listening after the fact, you're more than welcome to go check out the show notes and follow along because we've got a lot of links. Last week we had a lot of videos. This week I think we're going to have a decent amount of videos as well. So if you're listening, you might want to pull it up a page or pull it up on your phone. It's going to play the videos as you listen so that you have the opportunity to see the things that we're seeing. Also, if you want to support us, you can go to infectionpodcast.com/support, or we have our Subscribe Star. There we have Amazon, Humble Bundle, our Prime Gaming subs, all different ways. And they might actually come to use. We'll be talking about that here a little bit in the show.
Yes, sir. Well, do you want to start with that, or do you have something else?
Yeah. Well, no, I got something else. So I actually had something pretty crazy happen this past week, and I didn't really talk about it with anybody because I wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be. But my boy's grandparent on their dad's side he went missing on Friday. So he was out hiking in the mountains. You know, they kind of live in the remote wilderness, and he's 76, and he disappeared, and we had no clue where he was at. They've been searching, you know, they sent helicopters and they sent search parties. The military got involved, doing thermal scans of the whole mountain, everything, trying to find where he was at. And here about 15 minutes ago, we found out that they found him. And so they're bringing him back to the ambulance. So that's a miracle, but that's been something that's really been weighing on our hearts. And so much better to do the show with that on my mind and not, us thinking that maybe we're just waiting for them to do a body recovery. So that is a miracle that happened this week. And in the last 15, 20 minutes, we found out that they found him alive. So that's great.
Yes. Excellent. I saw that. Did not see the second half of that, but I saw the first.
I just posted it right now. So
okay. Well, then I
was doing that right before we went on the air, just going to give people a heads up. So I haven't really talked about it because I just didn't know, you don't want to, certain things you don't want to talk about if it might be something really bad. So
yes, sir.
Well, we're definitely blessed.
Yes, sir.
But another piece of great news. So this is double good news day, right? Well, I guess depends how you think about it.
I'll consider the first half of what you talked about good news. I don't think.
Okay, so this is depending on how big of a disaster they could make this. PAX is now supposedly uncanceled. So we kind of counted PAX West as being written off due to all the COVID craziness. And they just said today that they think, 3 hours ago, an article saying PAX West is coming back in September as an in-person event. There might be some stipulations on that, whether or not they require a COVID-19, passport or whatever you want to call it. That makes a big difference. Whether or not they're going to allow you to actually walk around the place and have it be a normal convention. So we're going to have to play it by ear a little bit. but that's on the table. So what are your thoughts, Nick? Because I know that
we haven't talked about it yet.
Could be kind of a weird year.
Yeah, and I can tell you my thoughts pretty straight up and up front, and because I do want to be totally transparent with our listener base that have supported us. I personally don't think this is a show worth attending. They have yet to release the health guidelines and even what restrictions are or aren't going to be in place. For example, where there'll be controllers where we can even demo games. Are we going to be talking to people through plexiglass and masks? So. And it's a smaller show. In my humble opinion, without them laying out those guidelines, I have a hard time thinking this show is worth the cost and travel, and I would kind of fall on the side of hoping that September of 2022, at that point, a lot of this nonsense is gone. That's where I stand. I'm willing to have my mind changed, but without them truly
putting out
explaining
a true
everything,
schedule.
And I'm really concerned, and what I'm really concerned with more than anything I just mentioned is, will there be anything decent there? Are developers even going to want to travel? Do they have anything worth showing? The new consoles are already out, so I mean,
yeah. Well, and the thing that I brought up a couple weeks, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, is if this is the only conference, are these companies going to bother putting together the money to build the sets and to do all the work? Because normally they build it once, they use it in 4 or 5 shows throughout the year, kind of moving around, and it pays for itself. If this is the only show that's really happening that they have to build something for, they're not going to bother building these sets and getting the space just for one event. It's going to cost them too much.
Well, they
can justify the cost with 5 events. But how many are big enough that where they're having a room or an area that's done well and big? Because I think they're small events that they're doing. I don't know that they'll have all that stuff.
There's a PAX
built.
East too. There's a PAX West and a PAX East.
Well, they canceled this one though. They canceled the one PAX East.
No, they just rescheduled. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's replacing. They did a digital event and it canceled PAX. Okay. So this is one of the only ones where they actually need their full set, and so that kind of concerns me. I don't know that they'll get the big names, or it'll be a very small, booth that's not nearly what we're expecting. It's going to be a weird year. So I think that is wise to kind of think, well, is it going to be worth it this year to show up if there's not going to be people that we can talk to?
My initial impression is that but I'm willing to have my mind changed if there's a outcry and outcalling of people for us to attend. I personally think it's going to be a bad show, and it'll probably be more hassle than it's worth, in my opinion. Yeah. If we can even get in, that's the other concern with the limited restrictions. I don't even know if they're going to let us in. This went from this show is canceled to tickets are on sale in 2 weeks. Things are moving rapidly with this.
This is where we'll have to sit down and discuss kind of off air what we want to do. But I think I'm most likely kind of along your lines. We already at PAX East sometimes struggle to find the survival games and the things that are in our genre, in our lane, I guess you could say. And this year it would be extra tough unless they find that there's a ton of people that normally wouldn't be able to afford to get, if they have a ton of indie developers or, smaller developers are creating new projects, that could be beneficial.
Well, the other thing
until we see the people that are coming, we can't guarantee that.
Well, and I think the bigger concern more than anything else, Brian, is people traveling abroad where there still are some pretty heavy travel restrictions.
Exactly. I don't know that, for instance, Green Man, who is wanting to come, if he can't, he was saying that they're still not allowed to travel to the United States.
They're not.
And so at what point that reverses, we can do that. But I'd rather not do it if Green Man can't come. Well, if we can get him to come to something else and we can't get him to come to that, I would personally rather wait.
Yeah, and again, a lot of those developers are traveling from parts of Europe where they're still not. So I don't want to sit here and lament the whole show on it.
Make a big difference.
But I did want to pass that along. We got the email here earlier this morning by But in my opinion, as of right now, without the health restrictions listed, without the guidelines listed, to me, it seems like a pass for this year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I stand.
Yeah. And we'll continue to discuss it a little bit, but
and then things change. We could adjust our planning, but that's where it sits right now.
Very good. All right. Well, do you want to? Do you have a preference where we jump to from here?
Well, let's see. Let's start with Epic. There was a couple of interesting announcements from them today. Yeah. Or maybe not,
and so this is something
today, but
well, it was in the last 2 days they announced this, and this is something we've been kind of waiting for. One of them I wasn't expecting, and first of all, they're offering 2 of the online services. Remember, we talked about them having their own kind of grouping system, voice chat system, all the different things that games need to be able to communicate across platforms, consoles. Those were things that Epic has been building so that if anybody who makes a game, and these were actually available to even people that don't make it with Unreal Engine. So the features that they're going to be offering for anybody to use for free in their games. First of all, Easy Anti-Cheat. They are now offering that for free. That makes a huge difference because a lot of times, for instance, games that are in alpha, maybe that aren't at a point, if they didn't take a lot of funding in, couldn't afford the license for some of these anti-cheat engines. This is now going to be included free. Now, you can have your opinion of the quality level, but I would say that Easy Anti-Cheat and all these other ones right now are probably on fairly equal footing. It's not like I look at one and say, this one's way better than that one. They all have their vulnerabilities, that people can get past. They all have their issues, but they kind of cut down the main people, the average. And so this is going to be included. Do you want to play that video really quick? I think it's mostly just, there's not a lot of information, but let's go ahead and play that really quick. Yeah, let's do the Easy Anti-Cheat really quick. And then they got a few details that they kind of sprinkle through it.
Gamers Online. Select map. Allocate teams. Initiate anti-cheat.
I know it's an H1Z1 player.
We'll have to walk on fire. So baby, bring your firing power.
So you saw in there, it said any engine. So they're offering anti-cheat for free to anybody.
Now,
so that's pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible. I will note, though, that Easy Anti-Cheat is one of the more, because of its openness, is one of the more exploitable anti-cheats.
Yeah.
But that, I think, is a...
Bingo, boom, shaka,
I don't know what word you'd use. That's a benefit of having a readily available anti-cheat, and it's going to be even more readily available now that it's completely free. So that's just one thing to note. Easy Anti-Cheat is not necessarily the creme de la creme when it comes to anti-cheat. Not taking anything away from it, but I think it's important to note.
Well, and that's the thing, is I really think that this,
Bingo, boom,
if it gets taken on and becomes incredibly popular, I mean, it's one of the more popular. It's one of the, I guess, the known anti-cheats that are out there. But I would think that this, if it gets brought on by enough, that they'll just keep putting resources into it and developing it, and it will be very confident, and if this kind of becomes the standard, knowing Epic, they're going to toss everything they can into it. And so I think that we'll just see Easy Anti-Cheat just get better, over time. And I think that having this prevents a lot of the basic ones that you're more, I guess, noobish cheat developers are going to try to do, trying to inject into the process and do it. It's going to catch those. Now, of course, you get the people that are really, really good at it. That's going to be something else. But I think this is going to cut out a lot of the people that have either the free cheats, they're trying to make their own cheat. things like that. And I think it makes a big difference because there's a lot of games that we've seen come in alpha that didn't have an anti-cheat because they couldn't afford it yet. They had to get some, they wanted to go to alpha. They didn't want to do a Kickstarter. They didn't want to do all this kind of funding. And this takes that off the table. Now, no matter what, you can have an anti-cheat in your game, regardless of whether or not you have money to do it. So that was the first one. So that was the one. I wasn't expecting that one right away. I wasn't expecting it to be totally free like this, but they are now offering that as part of the Epic Games service. The next one is voice chat. Now, the big thing is voice chat between platforms. So you can have voice chat on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and not have to worry about it. So I think this is also a big deal because there's been a lot of struggle with people that are on, for instance, PlayStation. If they open up the cross-platform, a lot of people are using group chat and things in PlayStation. Well, you can't chat with somebody on Xbox. So this really patches that hole that we've been running into as we're getting cross-platform play on all of these different games, where a lot of them, they don't have a built-in chat because they need an infrastructure like this. And this will be totally free. And all of these things are free to any engine. So regardless of whether they made the game in Unreal, or if they made it in Unity, whatever it is, they have the free use of all of these tools. So I think that's pretty good for them too. A lot of people say, oh, they do all these things because they want everybody on Unreal, that they do it. This right here, there's no real benefit to them offering it to all these other engines other than making it so there's no excuse not to use the product. Because You'd have people say, oh, well, I'm not going to use it because I use, this other game we have is on Unity or, and then we wouldn't be able to do it. This takes all that off the table. Anybody can use any of these things, and it's pretty big. So you want to go and play that video really quick, and then
Yep.
I think that's the main things for their things that they've released so far. There are more coming.
Voice comms module. Configuring. Deploying voice. System complete. All systems operational.
All right. So similar thing.
So those are them so far. Yep. Same thing. They've offered it to everybody, no matter what you use. I mean, if you have an iPhone app, you could put all of these services in there if you wanted to. It doesn't matter what platform you're using.
Very cool. Well, that's what we've got on the Epic side.
Yep.
So we'll keep you up to date with what's going on.
Forget, yeah, and I'm assuming this is just kind of the beginning of the announcements. Two at once. So hopefully they'll do more. And now another thing that they've done on the actual engine itself, that's a service where they're offering things that you can put in your game. Unreal Engine 5 now has officially added the NVIDIA DLSS support. So this uses the new. First of all, you can use either the super resolution, and then you can use this DLSS. These are features that are built into video cards. This one's an NVIDIA product. There are AMDs. I think they call it like Fidelity FX or something like that for some of their features. But this works now for Unreal Engine 5. It reduces your latency by about 38% when this is running. So that's a big difference. And so this being added into there. The Unreal Engine 5 was an early alpha, kind of a demo. There's still a lot of things not quite finished in it yet. It's not optimized. There's a lot of things happening. This is part of the optimization process. So I don't know. I know that they're releasing Unreal Engine 5 sometime next year, but it'll be interesting to see how much more efficient it gets. We already saw the demo where they have this gigantic world, and they're running around into it totally unoptimized. As far as the assets, they're just as high resolution as you get. Things like this, they just keep piling it on. It's going to be amazing what the engine is here in about 2 years, 3 years once they have a very stable version out in the games we start seeing from that. Because I've been showing my kids videos of people just putting in super high resolution, like forests and landscapes, oceans, and just seeing the detail where they can go up to any rock and you could just see the incredible detail on it. It's pretty amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it, but this is just one of the other pieces of the puzzle to, I guess, the next generation of gaming is what I would call it.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. So that's pretty much epic. And then we'll have an article on there where you can, if you want to read more about those services that we're releasing, you can click that, check out. They talk about, why are we releasing it? What's this going to do for PC gaming, things like that. So you can go on our show notes and check that out. But that is coming up soon. Okay. Do you have a preference now? Where do we go? Or do you want me to?
Unless you've got something specific, I was going to see if maybe we wanted to talk about XERA briefly.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do it. So you had a chance to run through it today. I had a chance to run through it last night, right?
Yes. We got a message from the folks over at XERA Survival. We covered a story from them just a couple of weeks ago. They're shifting the game to a free-to-play model, and they've made some pretty significant adjustments to the game. I can't show a lot of gameplay, but I do have a couple minutes of it that I will that I will throw in here, and we can briefly take a look at. One of the things being the new character creation screen, which has a whole bunch of new options and various features available that were frankly just not available before. Looking at this, you can change your sex from male to female. There's about 2 or 3 dozen various skin color choices, all the way from as dark to as white as white. That's all of those in there. A couple of different head positions, 3 of those. Face styles, a couple
Shapes,
of different hair options, various hair colors. You can go blue and red and green and purple and all of the other various colors in between. Same thing with eye color. That's also in there. And then there's some different pieces of facial hair that you can also color and grab. So that was just a little bit of what the character customization looked like, which for a survival game, this is kind of on par what you would expect with a game like Ark or Rust that have similar systems to this. So I think a good step in the right direction for that.
Yeah. And, this is, I think that for this, they've been doing this in-house. So, these are all characters that they've created, and it's got a lot of features. And so this is going to be, have they announced when they're going to be releasing this?
I don't.
As far as what day?
No.
Okay. So I'm not going to say anything about that, but I had a chance to run through last night and do some base building in this, because they've added base building. They've added survival elements. And if we could quickly kind of jump through some of those, I had an opportunity to run around with Joshua last night and gather some of the materials and run through and do some of the looting, and then get the beginnings of a base. What they do, first of all, is a claiming system. Kind of like, which one is it? What was the one that has a similar claiming system? Was that, let's see, Miscreated, right? They do.
Miscreated, Rust. Miscreated? I mean, Rust's got one too.
So they have it to where you put down, Rust has as well. So you put down a stake with a sign on it that gives you a square. One thing I wish I did have, I should have gotten a screenshot of how the perimeter works. I'll explain it really quickly, but that was something I really thought was cool. When you're placing your base, you can see around pretty much a circle around that stake that you put in the ground. The first one is a yellow one, and that's where you can build base parts, platforms and all of that. Then there is a part that's red, that has a red line. So it's yellow. And then there's a section that then has a red wall around it. You can put perimeter security things along there. So fences and things like that, not base building parts, but things to prevent people from getting in. I hadn't really seen that in another game, and it looked really cool. I mean, it worked very well. And I was very surprised. I didn't even think of something like that to where you could have it to where you can build here, but you can put fences and you can put other things to kind of make it to where they're kind of forced, if they want to make a huge sprawling thing, to do it in a way that makes a little bit of logical sense.
Instead of just building forever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. So here, you put a fence. It makes it so that if they want to use the full space, they're going to put a wall around their whole base. They're going to put as big, it gives them plenty of room. It's a huge square, but it worked very well. And then he said that there is a perimeter outside of that, that they still don't allow building of other people because they don't want people getting too close to you. So that is the kind of the permission system of where you can build. And then, so what I did is you run around, gather various parts. It has a crafting system very similar to H1Z1 and things like that, to where you can build the base platform. And so I built a base, let's see, what is it called? The base foundation. The base foundation. Place that, and it lets you, I put 4 there. And then I put walls all the way around except for, one door wall. And then I put 1 ceiling up. I had to go to bed because I had to be up really early this morning. But I just wanted to show, that's the actual ceiling asset. So you put that all the way around. It puts a nice ceiling up there, which has a little bit more height to it. Instead, I could have put a floor, to build a second level. It has a full setup base building system on there. So it feels, I was telling him last night, it feels very much, like the H1Z1, that parts that we enjoyed, that I don't, for instance, Rust, I just have a tougher time with their building system, just feeling comfortable with it because it feels so different. But this, they've got the pin code system, it has a grouping system to where you can invite people into your group and then they'll have the ability to, help you build or repair. It felt very complete, worked very well. I didn't run into any issues or major bugs where, it crashed when I was trying to do the base building. And this is something they have this currently in a closed test. It's not available for everybody, but these are a lot of the features that you're going to be seeing in the new release.
Yes. And one of the other quick things I do want to show is the new robot killers. They've kind of gone through and redone those. So here's just a quick look at this process. A little robot boxing going on. So that's how those now look and how those react. Yep. Obviously, things subject to change in terms of hits and things like that. But appreciate Josh and his team reaching out. I woke up to your guys' messages this morning. You didn't get into this until close to midnight Eastern time. I was fast asleep.
I was like, Nick's gonna be asleep. There's no chance. He's getting up like in 4 hours. 5 hours.
Exactly. Yeah, literally. Like I woke up and I was like, 3 hours ago, I'm ready to start playing. I was like, holy moly.
Yeah. Well, my week has been kind of crazy. And so I was like, I was like, I'll get in there, get some screenshots, but I was like, there's no, Nick probably will be in the morning. You can go check him out after he gets off work, and he'll come get some stuff. But
so
it was a fun time, run around. I'm really excited to see how people take it as far as a free to play game. It's one of the closest things to H1Z1 that's out there. And I think there's still an itch that a lot of people have for that feeling that they got when they're playing H1Z1. And personally, I haven't really felt the game yet that is close to the same feeling that I got with H1Z1. And it's hard to explain. I don't know why I enjoyed H1Z1 so much, even with so many of the problems that they had. But for some reason, there was something about the gunplay and all that I enjoyed in H1Z1. And I think that this is one of the closer ones to it. I don't know why Rust doesn't do that for me the same way, but it just doesn't right now. So it'll be pretty cool. And it'll be exciting to see if people really take to it and start treating it like they treated H1Z1. I guess the positive ways they treated H1Z1.
I was going to say, please rephrase your statement there, because I don't know if that's what they necessarily look for.
I don't want it to be exactly like H1Z1.
Yeah. Well, so again, appreciate Josh and his team for reaching out and giving us the opportunity. We appreciate it very much. So thank you. And I also want to thank our buddy Green Man Cartoons, Brian, for hitting us up with the 41-month resubscription here on Twitch. Thank you very much, Mr. Green Man.
Yeah, very much appreciated. All right. Hey, let's talk quickly. How about we talk about a little bit of Twitch business? Because there was something that happened that I was kind of surprised. there's been some hot tub streamers.
Oh,
I guess
stuff, yeah.
yoga pants streamers, we call them that have been banned. And one
thoughts?
of them that you, yes, well, that'll get us banned for just even thinking it. We can be it. We just can't think it. All right. And so on here, they've got it to where, first of all, Amaranth was actually banned. And I didn't think this would happen. I was kind of surprised. I mean, she's been pushing the limits as far as you can push them with her hot sub streams, pull streams, ASMR streams, to where she's doing incredibly sexualized things on screen for money on Twitch. And finally, I guess it caught up with some of these. So like they bring up a couple of names here. So Caitlin Amaranth Siragusa and Janelle Indy Fox Grays. I don't know how this is pronounced. Both were banned. Those were two of them, but this is most of these are down to ASMR. And I think a lot of it has to do with the things that they are doing in exchange for cash on Twitch. It's for ASMR, you know, things that are in pornos, as far they're acting out things that you would do in pornos on Twitch for money, you know, when you request it. And so,
well, you can't, for example, you can't, you know, like, for example, drinking for money on Twitch, like, you know, give me $5 and I'll take a shot. That is 100% bannable. So you would assume some of these other things would be as well. If you're paying for something like that, I mean, if you can't drink alcohol for money, why should you be able to do these things?
Yeah, well, and so I guess I'm not sure what aspects, you know, they say on here.
You're not telling me you're not watching these for
I don't watch
science?
these. I mean, I needed to ask Joe, you know, what happened here. He's probably watching at the time. But what they say is,
yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What I was about to say, I shouldn't say. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So what was happening is these ladies were licking the microphones while wearing very tight leggings. You know, they say, you know, we don't know what they would ban them for that for, but you know, there's the things of them licking the microphone while being directed to look into the camera a certain way and to do certain things, simulated sex acts. You know, there you go. She did get 587 new subs on OnlyFans since the ban.
Oh, great. A literal porn site.
So I guess, so since people can't catch her there, now they're now subscribing more to her OnlyFans so that they can catch her porn there as well. So this is it. I mean, this is kind of either they're going to kind of leave it at this and said, hey, look, we did our due diligence. We did something, right? And I'm sure this is a temporary ban. I'm not seeing exactly where, you know, they don't mention it in here, but this will be interesting to see if this is the beginning of a crackdown, if they're going to try to get away from the whole hot tub, ASMR, sexual streaming. I guess I'd call it that because it covers a lot of areas. Or if this is just they're trying to say, hey, we did something about it, you know, shut up. I kind of am leaning towards this is we did something about it, shut up realm.
You know, she's got 4.5 million followers on Instagram. That's a crazy amount of followers.
For no real talents. Like, she's not going up and playing an instrument. She's not going up and singing. She's not drawing or doing any kind of art. Her talent.
It's not even that. It's just, that's a lot of
licking
Instagram
a microphone,
followers.
dancing in front of a video camera for money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and not even like real dancing, like bouncing, dancing. It's not, I don't know. She doesn't have any real talents that she's offering. I've seen her do art. She's not they're not watching her for her talents.
Oh, she's
I guarantee
back.
that. And
she's streaming right now.
She's already back. So what is this? A 5-hour or is it a 2-day ban? But it's like a 24-hour ban. And
she's back.
There we go. So now
this is what she's up to right now.
Oh.
So she's ASMRing with a makeup brush.
So she's not allowed to lick it anymore. Is that it, or is she going to lick it here?
I don't know, but she's got. Okay, I'm not watching this nonsense. This is. I mean, this is insane.
All of our viewers are going to jump over.
The fact that 15,000 people are watching this nonsense means it does, Brian. It can't possibly show how far we've strayed from God. This is the most literal definition of it. I'm sorry.
She's writing people's names on her body for money. It's just all the stupidest thing you can.
Yeah. Well,
if people are willing to do it, I'm not so much against that. Like if people are willing to waste their money so they can feel like, oh, she paid enough attention to me. She had to pay attention to me long enough to write my name on her arm. I am special to her. She's going to write about me in my diary. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous. It just drives me nuts. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I'm all for it. If that's what people want to do, that's fine. I just wish that Twitch would, pick a policy, make
a statement and stick to it.
Make a statement and
we're allowing.
And stick with it. Yeah, because they're just all over the freaking place, and it's just very frustrating for me.
Talk about a conflict in messaging when they're saying, "Oh, women's rights." We don't like it when you make women objectify women, and then this is what they're promoting. You're telling me you don't want anyone to objectify a woman when the channel is dedicated to objectifying a woman? Period. No, I mean that's it. That's the whole channel is objectifying a woman. She has no talents. She has nothing to offer other than nakedness. That's objectifying a woman.
I didn't say
down to it. It's true.
I
if someone can find a talent that she has that's better than your average person, contact Nick at infectionpodcast.com.
You
I'd love to hear
it. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. But yeah, Twitch kind of all over the map. I mean, you look one day and it's this, then somebody's banned, then now they're already back. It's just, it's turning into quite a cesspool's not necessarily the word to use, but quite a gray area where there's really no rhyme or reason to anything that they're doing or their.
I mean, if this is an alternate Pornhub site, just put it in your things of what this site is about.
I'll tell you what,
decide whether or not they want their kids on it.
If I were Twitch, I would adopt an OnlyFans model ASAP.
Make it an adult version.
No, well, not even make it an adult version. Just make it an add-on feature. If you want to, here's a Twitch streamer.
Make it to where there's adult only section, where you age gate it and do all your stupid things to try to make it as safe as possible. But they need to do that. Then they're saying, here's our actual, because right now the problem is us saying hot tub streamer, and then are we going to get banned? Well, what are they doing? They're sitting in a hot tub and streaming. Not scary. Okay. There are women that wear little bit of clothes. Okay. Women that wear very little clothes. In this article, they're so close. PC Gamer here is just trying to not offend anybody. Being found too sexy. And first of all, it's TOO sexy. Thank you very much. By others is, and this is a professional writer. That's what I love. A professional writer, and they can't tell the difference between 2 and 2. Anyways, by others is not against our rules, and Twitch will not take enforcement action against women. Comma. They didn't even put a clarification.
This is my favorite guy right here.
This guy, perfect. Oh, yeah.
This is my guy right here. He is
he's movies. There you go.
Yeah, he's fully playing making the game out to its full mockery.
I mean, they can't ban him. He's doing everything within the limits. I mean, within reason, what they've offered so far. So it says they will not take enforcement action against women or anyone on our service for their perceived attractiveness. Has nothing to do with their perceived attractiveness. She could be hot and sitting and doing a crossword puzzle, and you know what? Don't ban her. But when she starts simulating sex acts and then demanding money, and you're not age gating it, and you're not preventing people my kids' age from going and viewing this smut, I'll call it that. That's controversial. Smut.
No, it's not.
It's true though. I mean, I'm sure they'll get butthurt about it. But it has nothing to do with perceived attractiveness. A girl who's very attractive will do better than, I guess, a girl who's not attractive on this platform, usually, unless she has a very good talent. But it has nothing to do with the attractiveness as far as why people are frustrated with this. There's plenty of attractive girls streaming on Twitch that do not wear attire like they're going to the beach, or wear attire like they're, going to a club, for sitting in their house and talking to lonely men. Period. So there you go. That if we could get people to convert, I mean, if they need to watch a hot tub stream, this guy's probably pretty entertaining too. I mean, looks like a nice guy. He's willing to write your name on his chest for money. He'll kiss the camera. He'll shake his boobies. It does all the things that you want.
Oh God!
Oh,
Jesus!
Oh, there you go. I mean, he's probably not making $100,000 or $50,000 a night like Amaranth.
Oh my God!
You know, he's working it. He's working with what he has.
Wow, what a time to be alive! All right, I think we've beaten this horse plenty dead.
So anyways, I wanted to bring it up because I didn't think she was going to get banned, but she did.
Well, she got banned, and then now I'm banned. So
for a day. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, she lost $30,000 in that. I mean, that is a pretty big deal.
I'm sure she made it up with her 500 plus.
Her 500 something. She also made another $50,000 too. So here we go.
All right, Brian, we got about 20 minutes. What else do we need to get into this week?
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's jump through. So first of all, let's talk about New World for a little bit because this is a game that's going to be coming out. There are some videos. They've been releasing some new. For instance, Chapter 1 has been released. They're talking about a thing called Expeditions. Let's go and jump into some of these because this game is getting ready to go to Alpha 2, or I don't remember what they called it. But they're getting ready to do more public testing. I'm going to jump in at some point. I've been kind of waiting so that I get a little bit more progress before I really try playing it. But let's go ahead and play this first. This is the Chapter 1 Legends of New World, Chapter 1. And this is going to be a nice teaser video, hopefully showing some of the, I guess, the history or the lore of New World.
Eternum waits beyond every horizon and calls adventurers from across the world and ages. They come, and among the ruins of the ancients, they find secrets, the magic and mysteries of the past. In this harsh new world, many fall, but the strongest and bravest may reach out and seize eternity.
All right. You're muted.
Sorry. Thank you. So this is, first of all, you see in there conquistador zombies. So that should be interesting. But this is a little bit of lore tease, gives you a little bit of the atmosphere. I don't know. I'm holding out for and giving this every opportunity because I'm always up for a really well done MMO that pushes the boundaries and introduces new things, because everything is a clone usually of either WoW, or they just make something that's so convoluted, because they're just trying to check all the boxes of what they think an MMO should be. So you have to run here, run there, and do a lot of menial tasks. I'm interested to see if they really reinvent some of what we consider MMO, especially with the technology changes and the abilities. And this is Amazon, for goodness sakes. There's no excuse for them to not really come at this with something bigger and better than most gaming companies could possibly do. So this is it's going to be interesting to see. New World, PH brings up that, I was trying to figure out, I think it's like public playtest too. This is like a second playtest that they're doing, for this current set of releases. Mm-hmm. But he said that they're going to be launching it in 2 months. So
August 31st.
We'll see. Yeah, so we'll see how much more they have to offer on this. So that's kind of the beginning of their lore series. I'm sure that they'll continue releasing more and more, maybe with different factions or whatever they're going to call them. If it's Conquistador and some other faction, they'll show stuff with that. But we will see. Now, Expeditions is another thing. So this is the Expeditions 101. So let's go and play that really quick, and then we'll discuss a little bit.
Welcome to Expeditions, 5-player dungeon crawls that will take you deep into the darkest and most perilous recesses of Eternum. In Expeditions, you'll face unique and challenging foes, solve elaborate riddles and puzzles, and discover rare and powerful items that will aid you in your journey through Eternum. Today we'll be taking a look at the Lazarus Instrumentality, an expansive subterranean ruin filled with ancient secrets, where something stirs deep in the dungeon's heart. As you coordinate your team to tackle the expedition, you'll want to remember a few key factors. expeditions are meant to be some of the most challenging missions in New World. Make sure your team is properly outfitted with potions, tinctures, coatings, and ammunition. The wisest adventurers will also make sure to strategize team roles, with players designating healer, tank, and DPS responsibilities accordingly. With your preparations complete and your team assembled, it's time to descend into the Lazarus instrumentality. Enemies and expeditions will be plentiful. In this mission, you'll be facing a variety of ancient foes. Ancients wield powerful magical attacks and can switch from close range to ranged combat in an instant. As you progress further into the level, you'll come across puzzles that will test your wit as well as your fighting prowess. For example, this glyph puzzle will require your team to seal a network of doors by triggering a series of switches etched upon the dungeon floor. Each expedition is filled with unique lore that will help you achieve a deeper and more nuanced understanding about the history of Aeternum, the secrets of the island, the true nature of Azoth, and the truth behind what happened to the ancients. You'll also occasionally encounter unique NPCs in expeditions. Here, Scylla has a task for our adventurers. While some of these characters have good intentions, there are also those who only wish to stifle your party's progress. And while no expedition is complete without a boss encounter, it turns out Scylla was only the gatekeeper for an even more dangerous and mighty foe. While we'd love to show you more, we think the best way to experience an expedition is to play it yourself. The Lazarus Instrumentality is but one of the many epic and challenging expeditions available on Aeternum. We can't wait for you to discover them along with the countless other adventures available to you in New World. New World releases August 31st, 2021, with a closed beta beginning on July 20th. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates and news about the game, and we can't wait to see you on Aeternum later this summer.
All right.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the dungeons. First of all, how complex they are, because that's the big difference between WoW and a lot of the MMOs. I mean, you could look at Conan Exiles. You could look at just a lot of the ones that are now making dungeon type of content. It's not the same. And even WoW has changed a lot. It's not the puzzles and complexity, that really make you feel like you're figuring something out that was pretty cool. And it'll be, they talked about a month from now is the alpha, what the open alpha, I think they called it, that they're going to be doing. That'll be exciting. I could probably play it right now, but I just want it to be as complete as possible. I don't want to play through the bugs on a game that I might actually play. So we'll see. I'm giving it some time. It's pretty close. This is going to be one of their first games that they've released under Amazon Studio. I think I've seen hints of one or two others, but I don't know that they've actually have been released yet. This may be the first one from their studio that's getting released, and I'm kind of excited to see if they actually fix the engine and it works right. Because this is an engine that is a mess when it comes to online play. They took it, supposedly fixed it, and I'm kind of curious to see if it works.
Well, the date is set. We'll find out one way or the other.
So so closed beta in a month. So I'm assuming that the closed beta is one that they'll offer to me since I supposedly own the game. So that'll probably be for anyone who owns the game. So I may go in there and get some screenshots. Well, they probably have limits. They'll be closed. So there may not be anything other than if I were to log in, which wouldn't really benefit the show. So I'll probably just leave it anyways. So
gotcha.
Until they're closer.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a preference where we go from here?
Want to see if maybe we could bang out another E3 video or so,
yes,
just to kind of put a wrap on that.
Let's do it. Well, okay. I have something. Let's do the first one on the list because I have a reason. I have a little bit of background.
Okay.
So you and I what were we talking about after the show last week?
Talking
do you remember?
about,
I think it was last week.
It was. We were talking about Zelda and the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so I purchased 2 Nintendo Switches this week.
Brian,
one for my wife.
What part of I'm going to figure this out and take a look at the best things possible. This was literally less than 7 days ago that you and I talked. How did this happen so rapidly? I don't understand.
I figured they were cheap enough, and I wanted to play Breath of the Wild before the...
Jesus.
Okay, so this is brilliant. So they're announcing Breath of the Wild 2, and I wanted to play Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. And my wife was really, she really likes Zelda, and that's the one game, and I was like, okay, well, they've got awesome games that you can play. So I first got her one, and then I ordered one for myself, and I got the light. So they're like, what, $199?
Oh, okay, okay,
crazy.
you got the light. Okay, that's fine.
I got two of the light ones. I didn't get the regulars because I'm not hooking them up to my TV. I don't need that.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
I just want to be able to play Breath of the Wild, maybe something in bed before I go to sleep, things like that, and not have the TV on and the bright lights so that she can fall asleep. And so for me, it works perfectly because there's a couple casual games I want to play. I'm not going to be taking it everywhere with me and playing. So I got that. I also got the new Xbox Series X today. It just came in right before the show as well.
Wow.
So that I'll give you a little bit. We'll see how that works. But
big money Aldridge.
Enough of that. I spent way too much this week.
Obviously.
But so they're teasing the new Breath of the Wild. Now I haven't played the first one. She's been playing since she got hers. She's been playing Breath of the Wild ever since.
Big fan.
Really enjoying it. I've only heard positive things about it. I'm excited to play it. And I didn't want to hook up my Wii U to play it. That just was not an option. I wasn't doing it. Even if it's, I'm assuming you could play it on there. I haven't hooked it up in years. So here's a video. Let's go ahead and play this really quick. This is Breath of the Wild. It's their E3 2021 teaser that they did.
Breath of the Wild 2. All right.
Very cool.
2022.
So, and the thing is, I haven't really played the first ones. Like, there's the things I see. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, but I have no idea about the plot. So that's coming soon. One of the top Nintendo games that have been released in the last couple of years. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's Breath of the Wild. Do you want to cover anything else before we, or are we good?
Let's see. Well, we got another couple minutes still. This was shown at E3, I believe. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. I believe this was shown at E3. And we've talked about Sea of Thieves for years now. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick. This is an announcement trailer for A Pirate's Life for Sea of Thieves.
An ill wind blows from beyond the horizon. A new danger is coming on the tides. And the one who might stop this ruin, trapped for all forever in the sea of the damned. Now to save the pirate life, you must start by saving the life of one.
Oh, didn't realize we had company. Captain Jack Sparrow. I suspect
hello.
you already knew that.
Very close to. I mean, they got a similar voice. I assume that's not him.
It's not Johnny Depp, no.
Because of the treasure Jack stole.
But you can tell they're definitely
the
going for that
darkness
sound.
Followed him here.
Yeah.
And if it's not stopped, this world will sink into shadow.
This sea holds many secrets.
Ah, a new body at last.
All I can do is show you the way.
From what I hear of this so-called Sea of Thieves, it's nothing but cursed crews, bloodthirsty mermaids, a legion of dead, angry pirates. Ah, yes. And now, one Davy Jones. Sparrow! Well, I believe that now is the perfect time to use these cannons.
A world without the eternal abyss. Is a world that refuses to face the truth. Nothing lasts forever. Destroy them!
I don't suppose, by chance, there's a second one of those? The Sea of Thieves, eh? Bring me that horizon.
So that is free DLC. It looks like a continuation of the story for Sea of Thieves. That actually launched today. Kramit saying, my son was playing this earlier. Seems the story takes are pretty good. Might actually be hopping on with him soon to play. So they're continuing that trek, and you I assume using some of the lore from the pretty expansive, lore that they'll have now in Pirates of the Caribbean to go with. So. Cool stuff from them.
Well, an interesting thing too. So Jared Butler is that voice actor, and he did work in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, which who knows? I mean, it sounds like he does a very close impersonation of Johnny Depp. I wonder if maybe they filled in some voice line, or did something. It's kind of odd that he has such a close voice to Johnny Depp, but he does. I mean, you could hear definite things he's practiced it. So yeah, that's it. So there's more games. We'll talk about other ones that are coming out here in the next couple of months next week. But that is one that was released today. So very good.
All right. Do we have
anything else before we roll out of here that you want to discuss?
That's what I was going to ask you. I don't.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. Yeah. RuneScape. RuneScape has set a date for their mobile version. So they have an Android and iOS version that is releasing here in June. So you can expect that. Actually, it released here a couple days ago, so June 17th. So on Thursday, they released RuneScape for Android and iOS. So Nick, I know you've been missing, your RuneScape a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your chance to get back into it. So
I might.
I only put that in there for you because I know that you love RuneScape.
I am a big fan of it. I remember nothing better than watching YouTube videos when I was in middle school how to download a tree mining software.
Are they Ice Poseidon videos as well?
No, this is long before the Ice Poseidon days. How to mine trees all day. I'd run my little bot while I was at school and come home and hopefully find myself not killed or banned. All that to build up the gold. Yes, I was a cheater.
Yep.
I can fully admit it. But it was good intentioned.
I think I've mentioned it like years ago, but I remember back in EverQuest, I went with my friend who was he was into electrical engineering. I took a mouse over there and we built in a chip that would just click every second, because in that one you had to do things repetitively. Yeah, it was like an auto clicker because they didn't have auto clicker apps. And you didn't want to get banned for it, right? So we just had a mouse that would just automatically click like every second or two. And then in EverQuest, like if you wanted to work on your swimming, you just had to press a button over and over again, and it would slowly level up your swimming, and it would slowly level up whatever the activity was. So I had a mouse just so that I could level up my skills while I'm at work, and it would just sit there and click all day. So that's as close to cheating as I did, but that was it.
PH says
yeah, now says, and PH says now mice have aimbots built in. Yeah, mine, we actually we modified the mouse to actually do this. Nowadays, you can get much more with macros. I mean, you don't need to just put a macro on your Logitech and you've got it. So
yeah, pretty funny. So cool.
But yeah, that's it. So, all right, we're good.
Yes,
and
sir,
we'll put in the show notes. I encourage you to go check out the episode 6 vlog of the Chronicles of Illyria as well. We may have to play that maybe next week because it's 41 minutes. So
yeah, we're not playing on the show.
Yeah, so if we're not going to play it on the show, but it's him doing Inside Chronicles of Illyria, and he released it on the 13th. But it's a 40-something minute video, and it shows a lot of. I mean, so if you're on the fence questioning that he's done any work, he shows a lot of in-game footage on this. I really encourage you to go check it out if you're kind of following the whole Chronicles of Illyria. I don't know if it's an episode or disaster or whatever you want to call it. It could end up being he actually does something with it. You never know. I'll give him a little bit. We'll see if he does something with it. All right. You ready for my contact info?
Yeah. What you got for us?
All right. Well, if you want to find me at Brian Aldridge on Gab or Parler, my blog is biteoftech.com. And then if you go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com, on the right-hand side, join our server on Discord. You can do that too. We've got a bunch of ARC servers going that people are playing, a news channel, workout channel, a whole bunch of places that you can go and be a part of the community. We also have our Steam group, which does once in a while send notifications out of when the show's about to start. We have our video forms of the podcast. You can do that through Twitch, YouTube, BitChute, and DLive. And those are live, and some of them have recordings after the fact if you want to go watch those. We also have our podcast form on the lower right, all the audio platforms you can listen to us on. And then we have a podcast extras if you want to catch some of our pre and post shows that we've done. Now, if you are listening or maybe you're watching and are interested in some of the videos that we've played, you can go to our show notes and we have links for all the articles, videos, everything that we discussed during the episode. So if you're wanting to do that, go jump on our website, click on the particular episode you're listening to, and you can support us. You can go and follow along with us. If you want to support us, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. If you want to support us, you can go to infectionpodcast.com/support, or you can go to amazon.infectionpodcast.com, humble.infectionpodcast.com. We have our Prime Gaming subs. We have our Subscribe Star. There's a lot of ways. And then we will discuss here in the next couple of weeks, as we kind of figure out what's going on with PAX, what's going on with other things, what we're going to be doing, maybe just saving the money for next year, and having an ultra PAX week.
I don't know about all that. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy.
Nick needs to be able to be alive the week after. So
yeah, for sure. I'm a big deal. Brian, thank you very much as always. I do want to thank our friend Green Man Cartoons for hitting us up with the 41-month Tier 1 subscription here on Twitch.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Green Man. It is highly appreciated. All right. As Brian said, of course, visit our website, check out our show notes. Those are at infectionpodcast.com. If you want to check out my daily political rantings, you can do so. You can visit nickcraig.com to do that. If you missed any portion of the show, want to check out one of those trailers, maybe some videos, screenshots, pictures, you can do all that fun stuff. It's on our website, infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We will see you next time.